Sports. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Stuff About Sports presented by the Give Us a Shot Network, www.giveusashot.network. The starting lineup tonight, as you can see, Bert's back with us. Hey. Ty's in the building. Hey. And Mike, we got Mike from the studio in the bowels of Shea Stadium down there, looking all official over there. How you doing, Mike?
What's up, boys? How's it going? How's everybody doing?
Good, man. I like this shirt. That's what I like to say. You see me and Mike rocking the new Stuff About Sports merch. You can find that at, again, www.giveusashot.network/shop. Today, guys, we made it. It's the last division in our NFL preview because we're like 3 weeks away from NFL football being played. So we will go over the last division. That's the division of the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the rest of the AFC West. Some news out of our area, longtime Philadelphia 76ers coach Brett Brown has officially been fired, so we will try to figure out what's next for the Sixers. And then, along with football, comes probably the most important thing about football season, and that's fantasy football. And so we will play a little start, cut, and sit fantasy football edition. But first, let's loosen up, as tradition, of the warm-up. Boys, Larry who? Let's talk about Luka Doncic, the GOAT. Gochich, okay? Game winner, sealing it on one leg. He had a crazy stat line. It was like 42 points, 17 rebounds, like 13 assists, a triple-double. Only Charles Barkley and Oscar Robertson has ever done it before, and Shaq somehow said he's calmed down, he's seen that before, even though he's literally never seen it before. Is Luka Doncic a top 5 player in the NBA right now? I will go. Actually, I didn't even go over the order. We'll do Ty, Mike, and now, you know what, Bert, you go first, and then Ty, and then Mike. Go ahead.
I'll go first, knowing very little about basketball altogether. I'm going to say no, and it could be just an ignorant basketball fan here because I have never heard of him until you just brought him up. Plain and simple. How can you be that? How can you be top 5 when I haven't even heard of you? I don't see your jersey hanging out in any type of store. You know, for my other job, I commute into this city. I walk by the NBA store all the time. His jersey's not in the window. No, you're not top 5. Get out of here with that trash.
Yo. That's so real though, Bert. That is so real.
Yeah,
I don't think you can argue with that. He's not top 5 for that reason. He's new. He's still 21. He's clearly has the potential to be top 5, but there's so many other great players. I mean, literally Curry. You know, don't forget about Stephen Curry, right? Like you know damn well you're not putting him above Stephen Curry. It's the fact. Yeah, maybe you. But just because Stephen Curry hasn't played this year, you just forgot that this guy's a champion. But there's tons of other players. You have LeBron, you have AD, you have Harden, you have Westbrook, you have Embiid, you have Giannis, you have KD still. These people that you haven't seen. You haven't seen KD, so don't forget about him. He's the freaking best. Kawhi. There's a ton of players you can name before Luka, but it's not discrediting Luka at all. He's just not top 5 at 21. He's not there yet.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. There's nothing more I could say about this topic. That was the greatest assessment ever of if a guy's top 5 or not. So well done, Bert. Yeah, I can't even add comic relief to that. That was just amazing. So I will say this: the Mets are playing now. So if I look down or it looks like I'm sleeping, I probably am. I got the game on.
I love you both, so I will say this with all seriousness. You guys are out of your minds, and I should probably have you both institutionalized. Not only is Luka Doncic the 3rd best player in the league right now, he will be the best player in the entire NBA inside of 2 seasons. He's the greatest 20-year-old basketball player we've ever seen of all time, and he's the greatest white basketball player to ever live. Luka Doncic, Luke Goat, Gocic, the god, all right, the great white hope. Bert and Mike, I swear, I thought you guys were going to be jumping all over this. Finally, you guys have somebody to latch onto. And yeah, he's not American, but beggars can't be choosers, all right? He looks like you, all right? And he has the smile, okay? The hair is adorable. What else can you say? He's 21 years old. He averages 28 points a game. He's netting the third highest efficiency rating in the NBA. It's unbelievable what he's doing. Yeah, he is a top 5 player right now. It's KD, it's LeBron, it's Luka. Luka does everything Steph does. He's creates off the dribble. You just saw his game winner. He shot it from damn near the logo. He has the range that Steph has. He's just bigger. He's just he's just a bigger version of Steph. I mean, who else are you going to put there? James Harden doesn't play any defense. We already know Paul George is a fraud.
Well, Kawhi though.
Kawhi's falling off. Kawhi's got to kill. He must be in that hotel room in Disney ready to kill himself because he's looking at Toronto. And then he's looking at what he got in LA where Lou Williams is his best player. It's unbelievable. But yeah, Luka Doncic, top 5. Let us know what you think on social. We're going to keep it on NBA. The Minnesota Timberwolves won the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, a quiet NBA draft, not much draft lottery. I shouldn't say draft. I'm sorry. The quiet draft lottery, it is usually made a bigger deal than what it is. But, with everything going on, we could just jump to Ty because I know that Bert and Mike don't know what's going on with the thing. Ty, do you think it's more likely that they'll draft Anthony Edwards or Weissman? I can't remember his first name. I think it's Jonathan. Or do you think they'll trade the pick?
Neither. None of the above.
None of the above.
Whoa!
You know who they're drafting?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
They're drafting LaMelo Ball. They're drafting LaMelo Ball. You just wait and see. Yes, it's his time. It's his time as a rightful Ball brother. He's clearly the best Ball brother, the best Ball player in his family history, and he's proven it with the big boys. He went overseas. He's done a lot of different things. He's prepared, and they want a big name too. And he's as big as it gets.
Cano just rounded out with 2 runners on, so that's why I threw my pen.
Yeah, it's over for the Mets. There's a rumor floating around that LaMelo that pick could be traded to the Knicks with next year's pick, and LaMelo could be drafted first to the Knicks, and Lonzo Ball is trying to work his way. There's a rumor that also came out that Lonzo is trying to get traded to the Knicks. So I think the fix is in. Big Baller brand coming to NYC.
I wouldn't mind seeing them with RJ Barrett. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all.
Not at all.
And with the resurgence of Carmelo Anthony, we could have just like a mellow team.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony. Everybody made a big deal of. He's averaging 15 points. Big whoop.
Yeah, that's more than he ever averaged on the Knicks. No, I'm just kidding. Percentage.
On a more somber note, the NBA is considering a boycott in protest of the Jacob Blake shooting. A lot of the players have come out and spoken that attention has been taken off of the NBA playoffs when the police officers shot an unarmed black man 7 times in the back. We're not going to go into the politicizing of that. We understand that the police are wrong here. Do you think the players in unison should protest? And what do you think what are your overarching thoughts and the ramifications of that would be?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think they should protest if obviously it's something they feel strong about, and they should feel strong about. Just a matter of what type of protest, do you want to, take a knee, gather at center court, but I do think something should happen. I mean, they've been very vocal about the BLM movement and having, names on the back and, obviously coming out with statements. And I think now's the time to continue that. And especially when this type of, attempted murder, I'll say, continues to happen.
Yeah, there clearly needs to be something. I'm sure that there will be. It's crazy. This is, just like the George Floyd incident. I still have yet to see this incident. I just heard about it, and I don't even want to dive too deep into it because it's happening too often. And I think something that messes me up, and it's something I never said about the jersey situation in the NBA that I wanted to say once they started it, and I seen all the messages. I think the biggest message I've seen on people's jerseys that I hate is the word peace. I'm sorry, like people are like peace on your jersey, like yeah, that's a cute thing to ask for. It just unfortunately
like it would just be keep them quiet. Their
I
idea.
don't know. That's the only jersey homage I've seen that in like peace. Like, that's what you're on your jersey. You're hoping for something that's just not even realistic. There's real things happening, and I wish they would have let Jimmy Butler have no name on his jersey to make to bring more light to these kind of situations. It can happen tomorrow to anybody. It doesn't matter what your name is, doesn't matter who it is. It's happening way far too often. So I wish there was like no name on the back of the jersey in the NBA. I wish they would let them do that now. It's just, I don't know what they should do. And who came out and said that they shouldn't be there at all? What player was that?
That was George Hill from the Milwaukee Bucks. And Bert, just to clarify, when I say protest, I mean the players are refusing to play games, the scheduled games at all.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if it's something they feel strongly about and they want to do it, I say do it. Make the statement. The only thing is, like, what are the ramifications, right? You have this huge bubble going on down there. That we're setting up to play so people can play. But obviously, this continues to be an issue that we need to vocalize about. So, I mean, personally speaking, I don't know if sitting out completely. I don't know what's more deafening for people to hear, people like the entire league sitting out completely, or them continuing to use their platform to say, because, unfortunately, when I look at both, I mean, these things are still happening. And I just saw that LeBron's coming out with comments, and now his mind is half trying to win basketball games and half trying to, better the Black African American community and make sure like shit like this doesn't happen again, and what other action that they should take. So to be honest with you, I don't know what the right is here. I just know that if they feel strongly about it, they should use their platform any way they can.
Yeah, I think the NBA is stronger together, right? So I'm actually upset some of the players aren't here in the bubble when this is happening, because they could kind of figure out a way with their voice and maybe have a sit-in protest, like, hey, game starts at 2, we're not going on, we're not going on, like, and make people realize that our voice would be heard. And Stephen A. Smith said something, it's poetic, but it's the truth. Man shot up a church, killed 9 African-American men. A white man did this. There was a manhunt for him. To be fair, there was a manhunt. They arrested him. On the way to the jail, he asked for McDonald's or some fast food. He's asked for a meal, and they stopped and got him food. So he didn't get killed. He didn't get shot in the back. He got a meal, So there's a disconnect, and there needs to be action. And like I said, if I'm a professional athlete, I want to use – I can't take away what my talent that gave me that voice, right? So I have to figure out a way how to channel it. And maybe it's sitting on the court and refusing to play, mid-game, and just sitting there. So I don't know, but I know these guys care about their communities. I know they want to change. So unfortunately, I wish there was more of them there to kind of figure this out, because it's a freaking tough situation, and it's not going to be figured out overnight. But we got to end this, and we got to end it quick, because people still think it's okay to take somebody's life just because, they're not obeying the law. And I think that's nonsense. And their idea of the law, not saying that. I don't know what, like Ty said, it makes me sick to my stomach. I can't get images out of my head. So social media allows you to see things that you would have to imagine. Now you could see it in real form. So just like my bald head, you could see it in real form. But it makes it very, very difficult to sleep at night, and we need to change this for the better. So, we're using this outlet, and people disagreed with that, and now they're gone, to try to right this wrong. And that's what we're still doing this, but it's hard, right, guys? So
It's hard. It is a hard conversation, and I know we're a little bit off of sports, and I promise we'll take it there. But it is important that now, especially like what George Hill is saying, and all these players are saying. I mean, we're seeing it in all sports, right? In college football, there's like this huge fight where players who don't normally have power are correctly exercising their power. And so when you're an athlete, especially a high profile athlete in a high profile sport like basketball, that's a predominantly black league, this is our issue. This is perfect for the NBA. This is perfect for it to be happening right now in the NBA, because we're looking at these star athletes that look like us, fighting for us, speaking for us. And it's and they should. I don't care what the consequences are. I don't care about TV contracts. The players, a lot of these high end players, especially the high end ones, like LeBron James earlier said that, I kind of laughed at it because I agree with what he's saying, but he shouldn't have been the guy to say it. Where he's saying he doesn't feel safe, being a black man walking the streets, and I'm like, well, you're probably the safest black man in the world, but I understand
most recognizable.
Right. Yeah. Like you of all black people are the safest of us all. But I kind of laughed at that, but I do understand what he's saying. Like, yeah, like we have different threats. Me and Ty, when we get pulled over, we have to think about our life. We have to think about how we act and how we interact with the police. We have to say certain things. We have to talk differently than a normal guy who's getting pulled over. And we just saw it earlier. There was another video of a guy who like literally got tased by the cop, ripped the taser out and chased the cop down the street and then got in his car and drove away. If that guy was black, he would have got a shot up the moment he started yelling. So
it already happened, right? Yeah. So I mean, that we already have an example of that. But the scary thing for me is not like you were born in this and your parents raised you, and unfortunately, the thing that makes me sick to my stomach is that you have to teach your kids in 2020, and you have to have that burden now, and you know what I mean, and have that idea, yeah. Once your sons start freaking driving, that they could, and your daughters, let's not forget about Brianna. So I mean, it's just it's a tough time, and it makes it very difficult to focus on sports, even though we got almost every major sport in some type of capacity working or playing to start a season. So
I know a lot of people don't like it when we do this race talk, and so I will smoothly transition into Roger Goodell on the Talking Uncomfortably with a Black Man podcast with Emmanuel Ocho, speaking about Colin Kaepernick. So yeah, the smooth transition out of race directly back into race. I'm assuming you guys have at least read some of these comments that Roger Goodell. I did listen to a little bit of it. It's nothing groundbreaking than what he said before, so you're not really missing anything. But he said what he said before, basically saying that the NFL should have listened to Colin Kaepernick. How do you feel about that?
I mean, so personally, I think he truly does feel some sort of remorse for not having to listen to Kaepernick sooner. But only because he now sees that there are so many people who won't boycott the NFL as a result, and he'll actually gain fans for the social justice or the social these matters that are being pushed. As a result of, George Floyd. So I honestly think he's thinking like hindsight 2020, right? So, this is the right thing to do all along. And he sees that, that the NFL is not going to fold as a result of making a bold statement like Black Lives Matter. So I think there is a piece of him that now finally gets it. He kindly woke up and realized it. But I think that a lot to do with it is the fact that he's not losing viewers over it, and the fact that there are now players, these athletes that are supporting it too, and knowing and having that support as well certainly helps. Whereas before, I just think he was scared. I think, when everything was going on and Kaepernick took a knee to make a statement, he immediately wanted to side with the owners and, the whole conflict with Trump, and kneeling is just unjust and so on. So, yeah, so I mean, I can ramble on and on about this, but I think now he's starting to realize, but I think it's also because he knows he's not losing a lot of things financially.
Yeah, so the way I understand this is the commissioner is the voice of the owners, right? Like that's how baseball is. I think this shows Roger Goodell is realizing that one, maybe ownership's changing, right? Two, maybe he's distancing himself from these owners. And you know, I learned a lot from Cap. I'm not gonna lie. Like the first time I saw him wearing the pig socks, I was like, oh, that's messed up. And then I started doing research, and it's like, all right, well, everybody should be wearing these socks. Like, you know, like it's just like, so he's opened the world's eyes. Like I knew there was issues. Like we all knew the driving while black, like jokes, and you know, and just seeing the social injustice all over the place. I just didn't know there was that many cops that were actually performing these acts until it was Kaepernick, right? So they should have listened a long time ago, and I think maybe not just the sport, society would be better. So shame on them. I'm glad they're righting this wrong, but it's like long overdue. Congratulations, NASCAR and the NHL realize it's an issue. Now you're going to tell me a sport that's probably 85% African American is now turning the page, you know? So too little, too late, in my opinion. You should have listened, and the man should have had a job. But whatever.
I can't wait to see what happens as more time passes. I mean, especially when the season actually starts, because there's still a divide. I mean, there's going to be people kneeling, probably tons, and there's going to be a lot of messages, and there's still a lot of people that are not okay with that. I mean, Breeze just made it clear. Breeze wasn't just Breeze. That wasn't just one man saying a thing. That was a man speaking for a whole entire group of people. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people still feel that way. A lot of people are mad that people are mad that we're even talking about Black Lives Matter or anything. People just still don't like that. They don't want to believe that they're
our own page. You saw the comments today.
Yeah, exactly. People still believe that. So I mean, I really wonder what's going to happen once there's pressure from both sides at all times once the season starts, because there's going to be pressure from both sides. I think Adele he was on a podcast. What was the podcast name, Jamal?
It was Emmanuel Ocho's. I believe it's Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man.
Yeah, of course he's going to. Yeah, if he was on a comfortable conversation with a white man, I'm sure he would have been like, yeah, I wish they wouldn't kneel. So, I think he's just playing to the person he's talking to at the time. And I don't think he cares either way. He's just trying to maneuver and step over landmines without blowing his legs up.
Yeah, and he's got 4 other sports to look at that. Oh, okay. Well, people are still watching them, right? And so, I mean, like I said, they could have been the pioneers of this shit, and instead, they're the last ones to join the party. In my eyes, I could be wrong, but I feel like they're the last ones to join.
Bert? Oh, no, you went first, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I didn't want to cut anybody off before I got to my thing. It's not really a rant because I don't want to spend too much. We could do a whole separate pod show on this, but, Todd's right. It's still heavily entrenched in the NFL. We just saw Jerry Jones basically say, yeah, I'm going to let the guys, express their whatever they want to do, but they're not going to do it during the anthem. Like if they want to kneel, we'll kneel together before the anthem. And like he's trying to make concessions, like instead of just giving his players the latitude to express what they want, he's making it very clear. And I've ranted on Jerry Jones this entire time for being a loudmouth who loves to be in front of the camera, but was suspiciously silent this whole time about all the shootings, about everything. And he's just a joke. He's a racist. I don't care what anybody says. Cowboys fans, whatever. I don't respect any black player that plays for the Cowboys now that Jerry Jones is. I don't respect any of them. So I think they're all porch monkeys. So now,
though, can I say one thing about Jerry Jones real quick?
Go ahead.
I feel like he's like the Vince McMahon of football. Like, I hate to say it, but Jerry Jones and Vince McMahon, for whatever reason, I don't know why.
Well, they were both on Trump's. For some reason, they were both on Trump's Open Up America committee. For some reason, like Vince McMahon, what the hell are you doing on a committee with Jerry Jones and the President of the United States figuring out how we're going to reopen America after the coronavirus? It's a joke. Anyway, let's move on.
Man. Economy, money.
Yeah. I got you. All right. So the last thing, now that Bert's here, I threw this in. Round 2 of the NHL Stanley Cup is here, and I thought it'd be fun because we're asking them to make Luka Doncic predictions, and so me and Ty will we'll dive onto the ice and blindly make some picks here. There are only 8 teams left. Okay, so in the East we have the Philadelphia Flyers, the better New York team, the New York Islanders, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Boston Bruins. And out in the West, the upstart, like they've only been around for a cup of coffee, Vegas Knights with the number one seed, the Vancouver Canucks, Colorado Avalanche, and Dallas Stars. It's really embarrassing that Canada only has one team left in these playoffs, and hockey is like a Canadian sport. It's ridiculous.
That's like that every year, though. I mean, come on.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
And the
All right,
bubbles
Bert.
in Canada, right?
What's that?
The bubbles in Canada, right?
Yeah, all of them are, yeah.
All of them are, right? That's embarrassing. So, Bert, lead us off. All right, we're down to the Elite Eight. So give us your predictions for round 2. Who's going to make – we're going to do this. So don't give me all the way to the finals. I just want to see who's going to make it to the Final Four.
Okay. So I think all are going to be really good series, to be honest with you. There's only one, and that's the Stars Colorado series that I think is going to end in 5 games. So if I start in the West, I'm giving the Stars the win over Colorado for 5. Colorado's got a really good team, but Dallas has been there before, and they added some veterans who has good longevity in the playoffs too. So I think they're going to do better this year than last year. They had kind of like a mid-round exit, if you will. If we're looking at the Canucks Vegas series, this was a tough one for me. I think it's going to go 6 games, and I know that Vancouver's already down 1 game. They play tonight. I do think they're going to come back and they're going to win it in 6, though. They have a nasty, young, tough team. So I think they're going to give Canada some hope for at least one more round. Moving over to the East, the Islanders-Philly series. Now, we just saw the Islanders blow out Philly completely in Game 1. I think it was like 4-0. But Philly is one of those younger, rebuild, scrappy teams. And as a Ranger fan, having me pick between these 2 teams is honestly one of the worst things in the world. But I think this series is going to go full 7, but the Islanders are going to take it. If it doesn't go full 7, I still think the Islanders are going to win regardless. Their coach, Barry Trotz, is won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago with the Capitals. Once he won the Cup with the Caps, opted out of his contract, stepped down and said, I don't want to coach here anymore, and immediately went over to Long Island for the Islanders. Or
what
Brooklyn.
an asshole.
Yeah, so he's ready. I mean, his first season last year, they didn't make it very far, and now they have a really, really well-built team, so we'll see what happens. And then the Lightning versus Boston. Boston's goaltender, Tuukka Rask, just left for family matters. He exited the bubble last week. He said he has stuff going on at home. This was their starting goaltender. So their backup's in, but they've been rallying around him. He's a good goaltender. I think it's going to be a good series. I have to give it to the Lightning, though. Every single year, they're always a well-bit team. They just have trouble closing as it gets later and later in the playoffs. This year, though, with the puzzle pieces that they've jumbled around, I think it could be their year to go to the Cup and potentially win it. So I'm saying Lightning in 6 on that one, too. Also, mostly because I hate Boston and everything that come out of that city. So,
well, it's tied 1. It's tied 1-1 right now. The Boston Tampa Bay.
I saw that.
When you said he was leaving for family family matters,
I did too. I laughed.
Reboot. I thought he was going to be like.
No. I was just gonna say, hey, just ask me out. Just tell Laura I said hi.
Yeah.
Even though she's not.
Oh my
she's
God!
Not really pretty anymore, but whatever.
Right. Well, no, I thought it'd be like a reboot. I don't know, like a Canadian version of Family Matters. Like.
All right, Mike. Who's your pick for the second round?
For the second round, I'm not going to go that deep into it because honestly, it's hockey and nobody cares about hockey.
I care because Bert cares.
Who cares?
But no, I want the Flyers. I want the Flyers gritty. I want them to get down and dirty. I know a lot of Met fans are Islander fans. Like, it's weird because a lot of people from Brooklyn moved to Long Island. And a lot of Brooklyn people like the Mets because the Brooklyn Dodger connection. I am not one of them. I am a Flyers fan, so I want my Flyers to go. And by fan, I just like the mascot. It's like my partner up top.
What about the Tampa Bay Lightning Boston Bruins series? Who you got in that one?
Boston's always there, right? So I feel like they're gonna bring it home. Lightning won it all a couple years ago. I know that. No, or something. No, somebody
I
likes
think
like.
last time they won it was at least 10 years ago. That was when Brad Richards was on the team and Marty St. Louis. That was years and years ago. Boston made it to the finals last year. They just couldn't finish in Game 7 against St. Louis. So
Yeah,
And they are the number 4 seed. But all right, so the Vegas Golden Knights and the Canucks, Mike, who you got?
Yo, you got to go with the Canadians. Like, you got to just think that they would know.
I feel like you got to, right? Like, this is their thing.
It's their thing. Yeah, like they have more time. I don't know.
Last one: Colorado Avalanche or Dallas Stars?
You got to go with again. Cold versus hot. Like Dallas. Like how
sound. Yo, that's great logic right there when picking.
Right, makes sense.
So
yeah, it makes sense. It makes all the sense in the world.
Also, what's not this Family Matters thing is really messing with my head, but it popped up one more thing in my head that I want to talk about. MLB keeps saying like players are optioned to the alternate site. Like it sounds like an alternate universe. like where, like so.
I feel like we live in an alternate universe sometimes.
If you're demoted, if you're demoted to like the practice squad, that's what they should call it. But they call it the alternate site, and it's like in Brooklyn. So they're like, yeah, we just sent Jacob deGrom to the alternate site. It's like, oh no, like he just vanished, like Spider-Man did, and now I had freaking movie. Like I don't know, but yeah, family. And I wish he was optioned to Family Matters, but whatever. That's it.
All right, Ty.
I'm going. I'll start from the top. I'm just like Mike said. I'm going gritty, just all the way. The Philadelphia Gritties. That's what I'm looking forward to from here on out. But going down the list, I guess I'm going Tampa Bay. They seem like they're always there. That's what Bert says. I trust Bert. And then Vegas won. Didn't Vegas win the championship last year?
No, they made it to
they
the.
made it.
They made it.
Yeah. That's 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they made it, but lost.
The fact that they made it and that they're in Vegas, I got to go down to Vegas Golden Knights. It just sounds. I've seen the Canucks logo too, and it is nothing about them is exciting. The Canucks. What the hell is a Canuck?
Logos are amazing. The Knights logo, that new Kraken.
The new Kraken logo is fire. Like I almost switched teams until I remembered that I have allegiance to Gritty. Yeah. But I'm going Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, and then I'm going Dallas Stars because like Bert said, they've been there and they got veterans. So I trust Bert. That's my picks.
So when I was doing my deep dark, like I was like, yo, I'm really gonna study this and figure out who's what. And then once I realized I couldn't pronounce anybody's names, I just went to my backup plan and said, I'm just gonna pick the teams that have the best uniforms. So I went Flyers over the Islanders. I went the Bruins over the Lightning. I went the Knights over the Canucks. And I went the Dallas Stars over the Colorado Avalanche.
I like this move.
Thank you, appreciate it. I figured that was just as good as like actually studying the teams and figuring out who's good. I have no idea, but it just felt right. All right, so
and see.
No. That's why I said I only wanted to do the final four. We're gonna see who has the best picks, and then we'll do our final four picks for the actual championship, and then we'll see what happens then. All right. So now we're done with that. On to the big boy stuff. Guys, we just talked about Philadelphia, and I hate to say it, man, it was a sad day for your boy yesterday. Ty was really happy. I was really sad. But Ty, happy belated birthday. It was Ty's birthday yesterday, and I guess he got his birthday wish. Brett Brown got fired, man. And after 7 seasons, really 3 seasons, because he was asked to come here and tank for 4 seasons, and he really only had 3 seasons with a real team. He was let go yesterday after they were swept by the Boston Celtics. I feel like if he was swept by any other team, he probably could have made it, but the fact that it was the Celtics made it feel worse. So, Ty, I'll start with you. I know that you're happy about it, but what do you think? Who do you blame if you had to do a chart, like if you had to assign percentages? Who's to blame? Because it's not just Brett Brown. I think me and you had an offline conversation. I don't think we assigned 100% of the blame to Brett Brown, but who do you think deserves some blame? And then who do you want as the next coach? And this is to you guys too, if you loosely follow. who would you want as a head coach? And what do you think the Sixers are going to do? Because GM Elton Brand's going to stay for some mystifying reason. And he said he's not looking to trade Joel and Ben. But there will be major changes coming to the Sixers next season. So just what are your thoughts on that?
I was happy that we made a decision early, and I believe it was the right decision to get rid of Brown. But it's a sad situation. I don't want to get rid of Brown. I would hope that we could keep Brett Brown. I love Brett Brown. I appreciate everything he's done for us. And, it's a situation that is tough to talk about and think about. But looking at the past couple of seasons and seeing what we've done with the talent we have, I mean, it can only point a lot of the blame to Brett Brown, especially this season, and our horrible performance in the bubble. I mean, in the entire bubble, and as well as in the playoffs, we've basically had no chance against the Celtics. I think if Simmons was there, it probably would have been probably a 7-game series because of Simmons' defensive abilities, but it still probably would have been a Game 7 loss by us. I mean, I still think we probably would have got outmatched to the Celtics just because of Brett Brown, in my opinion. So, in terms of percentages, I think he gets most of it. He gets above 50% of the blame, in my opinion. I would give him 75%, and 20, maybe 20% to Embiid. And another big percentage to Embiid. And then, I'm not too upset with Elton Brand. I know that's where you're going, and you're like, it's what product they put on the floor. But I mean, we see the people on the floor, and you literally were still arguing about how they probably have a better talent than the Celtics, but yet, somehow we look like we had zero talent compared to the Celtics when we really do. So, I mean, Brand put a good product on the floor, I believe. If you look at top to bottom of our roster, it's not a bad roster. I'm not mad at Brand. I'm mad at what Brett Brown did with the players we had. I'm just, I'm upset by that. Embiid not being in shape, Simmons not taking jump shots. These are things that a leader of the team is supposed to do. We don't have a Jimmy Butler. We don't have a guy on the court that can do that. We need our coach. We need a coach that can do that. We need somebody like a Steve Kerr or somebody like a Popovich, somebody that's going to put the foot down and say, this is the culture. This is how we're playing. I will bench you. I don't care. And, Brett Brown, he didn't really have much command over the roster. So I put a lot of blame on him. I love him as a coach, but I don't think he was the right person for who we have. But Embiid gets a big portion as well, just because he is our best player, our franchise player, the process, our entire franchise. He should have stepped up more and been more of a leader on the floor, but, he wasn't. So, I do give him a part of blame, but the leader, their head leader and the main leader is the coach. That's the person that's supposed to lead the team. So, who do I want? I quickly thinking, I'd like Jason Kidd.
Because, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, just because.
He already plays like Philly does. When he was like, he had the glass of water and he's like, knock into me, so he could get it.
That's the funny thing that you brought that up, because somebody else brought that up to me earlier, and I was like, that's exactly why you don't want him. He's such a bad coach that he wasted his time out.
He was young. He was young at the time, first time coach. I don't think he went from he wasn't even an assistant. I don't think. I think he went
got hired straight up. Yeah, he played and then he retired, and then that same offseason he became a head coach.
He had no experience. He had no chance to do anything. But he's been an assistant the past couple of years. He's now in LA underneath Frank Vogel. I think that's good and especially if they let the Lakers win a championship. Jason Kidd having that being on a team like that, being with LeBron, winning a championship, even as an assistant, I think that's going to put even more weight behind him, more experience, and I would trust him coming in and being a former player that you can talk sense to some of these guys. Don't look at me as just some old guy that's barking at you. I'm a former player and I'm a winner. I'm pretty sure he's a champion.
As a Dallas Maverick.
Exactly. So people especially Simmons, Simmons should really model his game after Kidd. And Kidd became a jump shooter late in his career. Right? Simmons, he wasn't a jump shooter in the beginning of his career. He was a jump shooter at the end of his career. So Simmons should look up to that, and our players should look up to somebody like that. I like Jason Kidd a lot.
Bert, you have anything on this?
I mean, the only thing I was going to add is honestly Jason Kidd, because you said, who should take over, and he was the first one that popped into my mind. It was either that or AI, but I know AI doesn't coach, so it is what it is.
That'd be dope. That would be dope.
So it's funny you said that. I would love Allen Iverson, because you're right. He's not coming in to coach. He's not coming in to do anything really. I'm not sure what his interest level is in being involved with the franchise, other than getting the occasional courtside seats and the standing ovation. But if they were to somehow put him on an official capacity, like on a payroll, to just simply be like an ambassador, come in and just talk to the players, come and practice with the players. I think just having him around more than just giving pep talks would really benefit, especially some of the young guys. But more importantly, like Ty was saying, our franchise guys, I'm questioning whether Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid are indeed franchise players. As I've told Ty and I put on social earlier, I've been off Ben Simmons for a couple years now, being the franchise guy. I don't think he has it in him. There's nothing he's shown me in terms of improving his game like the other young stars in his class. Now, Joel Embiid has worked on his conditioning a little bit. Yeah, I think he could be doing more. I think he knows he's good, and I think he knows that Josh Harris, the owner, is the one that's protecting him, which is exactly why 50% of my blame is going to the front office and ownership. I'm combining Elton Brand and Josh Harris to blame for what happened in Philly. And then I'm going to give 25% to Brett Brown, because you're right. You do need to demand more of your players. There's some details out there saying that he didn't command the respect from the locker room, but I feel like that speaks to what the ownership has done, right? If you know that the owner is always going to have the players back, how can you possibly coach that team? If ownership's constantly and general managers constantly getting in the way, how can the coach possibly command that respect if all they know is that they could just go to daddy's room and knock on the door and say, hey, Brett Brown's being mean to us? I think that's an impossible situation to be in. And then the other 25% is on Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Like, you're the franchise guys, man. Step up. Tobias Harris should not be the guy I see on the sidelines all the time, yelling at teammates and getting in teammates' faces and trying to hype everybody up. It shouldn't be you. And I love that Tobias Harris is doing that, and I hope they don't trade him. I'd take 5 Tobias Harrises on this team over a Ben Simmons or over a Joel Embiid. If Joel Embiid's happy with doing Hulu and pistachio commercials, and Ben Simmons wants to hang out with Kardashians all summer instead of working on his game and shooting jump shots. Now that the Brett Brown era is over, I think he deserves a lot of credit for willingly coming into this franchise and knowing that he was going to tank for a couple years and not really getting a fair shake. So in terms of the future coach of this team, Jason Kidd did come to mind, but a guy I think, and I know there's a lot of rumors with Ty Lue, and I swear to God, if Ty Lue ends up
stop saying that.
I told you a week ago that we're going to fire Brett.
Stop saying that name.
And I put this on social, and I wanted people to screenshot it because I said it a week ago. We're going to end up firing Brett Brown, and we're going to end up with some bum named like Tyronn Lue. And guess what's happening? All these rumors are saying that there's mutual interest between the Sixers and Ty Lue. Ty Lue, don't talk to me about him going to the finals 3 times. Don't talk to me about him winning a championship. LeBron went to the finals 3 times, and LeBron won that title in Cleveland. And Ty Lue was lucky enough to be the coach of that team. I don't want to hear that. You know what Ty Lue did when LeBron wasn't on his team? He went 19 for 89, including starting the season the other year, 0-6, which is why he got fired, because he sucks.
He also got crossed over and stepped over by Allen Iverson.
He's not
welcome in Philadelphia. Nobody in Philadelphia respects this man. He is not being signed. He has no love in Philadelphia. He's not respected in these streets. They're not signing him. They can't.
I know.
Ty Lue has that stupid look on his face that he gets bullied by his wife in public, and then that look that the stupid husband gets when he knows he's getting embarrassed by his overbearing wife. That's Ty Lue all the time. Enough of Ty Lue. The coach that the Sixers need is Kenny Atkinson from the Brooklyn Nets. He got a raw deal. Kyrie Irving came in there and ruined everything that Brooklyn was trying to build. The rumor is that Kenny was too hard on the players. I think that's exactly what Philly needs. They need somebody who's going to be tough somebody who's going to coach these players and treat everybody the same, not play favorites. Kenny Atkinson did exactly what Brett Brown was accused of not doing, and that's squeezing the talent out of players, even if because Kenny's roster wasn't all that great before Kyrie got there, and they were winning a lot of games, and they were the surprise of the league. So I am praying for Kenny Atkinson. I will take Jason Kidd. I also would love to David Fizdale to get another shot, and hopefully I think he has some of that what Jason Kidd would have. Highly respected Miami assistant coach. He got the shaft in Memphis. He got the shaft in New York. I don't judge anybody for anything they do on the Knicks, but I think David Fizdale deserves a real chance with a franchise. Go ahead, Mike.
Hear me out. He died for your sins. Sam Hinkie.
Yo, I would love Sam Hinkie to come back, but it can't happen. They already retired his jersey at Xfinity Live.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's it. We'll see what happens with the Sixers. I'll be interested to see what these massive changes that Elton Brand's talking about. I would love to know where he's going there. All right, so I will leave it up to a vote. Do you guys want to do AFC West or do you want to do start, sit, cut fantasy edition?
Ooh, let's do start, sit, cut. I've been waiting for this.
All right. You got it, buddy. All right, fantasy season's coming up. I know the network has our fantasy football league. I know Ty is working diligently on those details. We'll get them to you soon. Our plan is to draft September 8th, which is our final show before the kickoff of NFL season, September 10th. So I already did a fantasy draft with another league yesterday. I didn't do too great, but their format was a little weird for me. But so here we go. We're just going to go over the main skill positions. We're not doing defenses. We're not doing kickers, shit like that. Start, sit, or cut. QBs. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. Now, I will say I picked these top three because they were the top three in ADP, like rankings of fantasy quarterbacks, not real quarterbacks. So I'm just letting y'all know that.
Mm-hmm. For the QB class, I'm going to start Money Mahomes. I'm going to sit Jackson, and I'm going to cut Deshaun.
Whew.
I won his family football league with LJ, so I'm gonna start him. I'm gonna cut Deshaun, and I'm gonna keep Patrick Mahomes because he's a Met fan.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm gonna start Mahomes because he's the best ever, and then Lamar Jackson. I think Bert's right on. It's hard to argue that you got to cut Watson. I don't want to cut Watson, but it's the options you got.
Yeah,
you got to bench Lamar.
I am starting Lamar.
Yeah,
because I think he is going to do even better than what he did last year. I think we're going to have back-to-back NFL MVPs. I think he's going to put up monster numbers. That team is hitting all cylinders, and they're motivated, and so I will do that. I will bench Deshaun Watson.
Yo, you're out of your mind.
The Patrick Mahomes dream is over in fantasy. There's too much going on in Kansas City.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of talent. Kelsey, Hill. I know it's too much.
It's too much.
Too much talent.
And here's why. And I'm glad you mentioned him. Travis Kelsey. That's exactly why Patrick Mahomes is going to take a precipitous fall in fantasy. Because Travis Kelsey got that monster contract. He's going to get
so
hurt.
did Mahomes.
Yeah, but it's different for quarterbacks. It's different. Travis Kelsey's going to get hurt, and then Mahomes is going to get exposed, and he's going to fall in fantasy. Also, that team's going to be winning so much, even if he doesn't get hurt, that Mahomes is never going to have to throw the ball. Deshaun Watson puts up monster stats, even though his team sucks, because his team is always losing. So he has no choice but to put up monster stats. Mahomes is going to be winning too much. And John Harbaugh doesn't bench his guy. He'll let Lamar Jackson do whatever the hell he wants. Lamar Jackson will throw 5 touchdowns in the first drive somehow, and he'll make it happen. But Mahomes as a fantasy prospect, I'm sure. I mean, he'll be good, but I think he won't. Bold prediction here: Patrick Mahomes won't be a top 5 fantasy quarterback this season. I'm telling you, man. Blake Bortles was the second best fantasy quarterback his last season in the league. Fantasy is different than NFL. Trust me. There's a lot of teams that made some real improvements. So we're going to talk about one of the quarterbacks I think is going to have a big fantasy year in the AFC West, and his name's not Patrick Mahomes. So running backs, start, sit, cut, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott.
Here's where my Giants fan homer comes out, man. I'm starting Saquon. Have to. He's my guy. I'll sit McCaffrey. Zeke, he can get out of here. Dude only wears half-cut shirts, and he plays for Jerry Jones. That's enough for me to cut him. I don't even want to see him.
The Mets lost game 1, so on to two.
Oh my god!
Shit. Okay, let's look at this.
Well, while you look at that, Michael Sean on social says he wants Booker to the Sixers for Simmons, Thibault, and some draft picks. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, the Phoenix would never get rid of Devin Booker. I'll tell you that much, buddy. All right,
damn,
Mike. Sorry,
Corey Booker. So I was really perplexed by what he was going to do. I was like, man. Ball? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I think he has a pretty nice 3-point jump shot, but I don't think he can help you off the pick and roll.
With C-Mac, number 1, that's his new name. Zeke the Geek, I'm dropping, like throwing him out of the car at like 60 miles an hour. And then I'll keep the Bark on the bench.
Yeah, I'm following right along with that, but I'm not cutting Zeke so adamantly. I gotta cut him because of the other two.
Just cut him more gently.
Yeah, I'm cutting him gently because in reality, like I like Zeke a lot in fantasy. I would, if I was looking at Barkley and Zeke at the same time at a draft, it'd be, I might think about Zeke seriously because of injury, because of Barkley's past of not playing full seasons. So that worries me a little bit. But Zeke's is so consistent. But yeah, I'm starting to see Mac. I got to cut Zeke and Barkley. Even in limited games, Barkley just puts up so much crazy numbers that he's a beast. But Zeke's not far behind.
He's the best quarterback the Giants have too.
Don't disrespect the god Daniel Jones.
All right,
you see his quads. He got bigger quads than.
Ladies and gentlemen, white privilege.
You see? Hey, no, I'm not even. I'm literally not joking. Have you seen Daniel Jones lately? He looks like he's been training with Saquon. He looks like a fucking beast right now. Go ahead, Bert.
No, I went. We're good. You
did?
The third time you've done that. You just want Bert to double.
No, because I'm trying to organize the stuff and listen. I keep forgetting that Bert went first. Well, my bad.
Let me say one thing. I kind of agree with Hy. Like in this situation,
another one thing.
In a real fantasy draft, I'm probably going Zeke over Barkley.
No way. Come on, dude.
I probably would just because I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. So if I have Zeke, now I could enjoy my fantasy as opposed to just watching the Giants implode and then.
Oh, I got you,
Mike. You need to do the show with me more often because I can't just be the only voice of reason on this show. All right. Of course, you're starting C-Mac. He's the best running back in the league. He's the best. He's the best. You have to keep Ezekiel Elliott on that team, bro.
Do you?
Are you joking? Over what is Saquon going to do when Daniel Jones?
He's been relatively healthy both seasons. I think he missed 2 games or 3 games last season. He still puts up monster numbers and runs for well over 1,000 to 1,100 yards.
Ezekiel Elliott hasn't missed any games because of injury. He only got suspended because he punched a bartender or something. He hasn't missed any games.
Still miss games.
Okay, all right, but not because he was injured, and they weren't.
No, for something even worse. I'd rather my guy miss games because he's injured.
Dog, you want to hear stats compared? Zeke had 1,300 yards last season, 1,400 yards in 2018. Barkley had 1,000 last year, 1,300 in 2018.
Yeah,
but they were a nice 1,000. They were.
And Zeke missed games, so for suspensions.
You want to compare the touchdowns too? The past 2 seasons, Zeke has that's career. Never mind. But yeah, he has 18. Yeah, no, they're only one touchdown off.
Yeah.
But
through their careers, I already know that number. Saquon Barkley has 17 rushing touchdowns. Guess who he's tied with? You guessed it, buddy. Buffalo Bills great Josh Allen. Yeah, the same amount of rushing touchdowns. So don't worry. Josh Allen, top 5 fantasy quarterback this year. Book it.
Overrated.
Oh, no way. No.
Got him with his own shit.
No. Oh my God.
I started this segment saying that I was going to throw Zeke out of a moving vehicle and then said I'm going to draft him. So
yeah.
I have zero credibility. And
then you threw me. Then you basically just threw me out of the moving vehicle.
I like Josh Allen. I love him. Yeah.
So, wide receivers now. We got this one was the hardest one for me. I'll be real with you. Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins. I just realized I put Drew Hopkins. I don't know where that came from. And Julio Jones.
Yeah, this was tough for me as well. Looking at it, I have to start Julio, and Thomas, and then with Hopkins in a new home this year, I had to cut him. I don't know if he's going to have that good connection in Arizona, so that's where I'm at with that. But that was a tough one.
Yeah, what I do is I hope I'm on the wraparound and I pick a running back and then let God decide which one I'm going to get. So, like, if I'm 11th out of 12th, like, let that guy pick two of these guys and I'll pick the other one because that's how close they are. Like, wide receivers, it's for me, and nowadays tight ends, there's a huge drop-off. But these 3 guys, Julio is my favorite out of the pack, like, honestly, because he's the most entertaining one, but it never either equates to 30 fantasy points or 5 fantasy points. Like it's so frustrating having him personally, and I'm being drastic with the 5, not with the 30. But Michael Thomas is probably the guy I'd go with, and Hopkins can join that vehicle.
Yeah, I'm going because of quarterbacks. I'm going Michael Thomas. He probably is the best receiver in the game, and it has a lot to do with Breeze. And in terms of fantasy wise, like, he just constantly gets the ball, tons of targets. So I'm going Thomas. Then, oh man, it's tough. I feel like
easy. This is easy, man.
Oh man. Fantasy wise, I'm drafting Julio. I'm gonna draft Julio over DeAndre. And once again, because of quarterbacks, I want Kyler Murray. I want that to happen in the Cardinals. I want that to be good. I'm kind of rooting for Kyler a little bit, and especially DeAndre. Like, I'm a low key DeAndre fan, and Julio being in my division as a Bucks fan, I want him to not have a good season. But fantasy wise, I'm picking this. I'm being smart. I believe Julio will get more targets, more yards, more everything over DeAndre this season with a system that he knows that he constantly gets targets in. He's putting up monster numbers every year. So Julio has to be the second guy, in my opinion. And I have to unfortunately cut DeAndre because he has a new quarterback, a second-year quarterback, and we'll see how that goes.
I know exactly how it's going to go. The same way it's always gone for DeAndre Hopkins, and that's exactly why I'm cutting Julio Jones. He has bum-ass Matt Ryan, fake ace Matt Ryan, the new Phillip Rivers. People thinking that you're good, but you actually haven't done anything good, bum-ass Matt Ryan. DeAndre Hopkins has made a career of being a top 3 receiver with Brandon Whedon and Brian Hoyer as his quarterbacks. You don't think he's not going to be nice still with Kyler Murray? No way. I trust DeAndre Hopkins with an average quarterback over Julio Jones, who's been with the same quarterback and hasn't done anything. So DeAndre Hopkins has always been a better.
We've already debunked. We already debunked that on the show, how the stats of Julio. So let's not go there.
I got you, but we're talking about fantasy, and DeAndre has routinely been a better fantasy option than Julio. So I will always. And he has the best quarterback since, and he had Deshaun Watson. So Kyler Murray's better than all the other 12 quarterbacks that DeAndre has ever had. So yeah, no, it's definitely DeAndre Hopkins over Julio, and then Michael Thomas is Michael Thomas. I mean, he has Drew Brees. They're just he's gonna have million catches and like 13,000 touchdowns. So that's that. Moving on to tight ends. Travis Kelce, George Kittle, or Mark Andrews?
Yeah, so I mean Kelsey, only because he's just done so much in that position. He's essentially a wide receiver, plain and simple. He's listed as a tight end, but he has receiver stats. I mean, you couldn't go against him. And look, Kittle's up and coming. He's not up and coming. He's there, right? He's the second best option for a tight end. So I'm starting Kelsey. I'm sitting Kittle, and then big Mark Andrews. What has he ever done? Like, why is he on this list?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So either way, I'm benching any of these guys because I'm starting Gronk, baby. I've never
got him.
I got this guy, so I'm also stealing Paul's thunder. But in all, I'm going Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews in that order for this. But either way, Gronk is on my team, so deal with it.
No, that's the list, and I can already tell Jamal he never can go with the consensus. He's about to say some crazy outlandish shit. But that's clearly the list. We all know the list. Go ahead, Jamal. Tell me some nonsense.
Well, I just told you that Travis Kelce's going to get hurt, so obviously I'm cutting Travis Kelce. He's out of here. Cut his ass.
Just like old Yeller style.
These guys get these big contracts and then they never perform the way they're supposed to.
All of them,
Travis
right? Every single last one of these players.
Every single one of them. Every one of them throughout the beginnings of time. Cutting Travis Kelce. And then I'm benching George Kittle. That's right. The Super Bowl hangover is real. The Super Bowl hangover is real. Everybody takes a step down. He just got paid 2 on top of it, which leaves big Mark Andrews setting up. You know what he's ever done? He's carried Lamar Jackson to the playoffs, baby. That's what he's done. Him and Hollywood Brown by themselves. And you know what he's going to do this year? He's going to carry Lamar Jackson all the way to the Super Bowl. And guess what? Mark Andrews is going to solidify himself as the other great white tight end. Gronk who? Mark Andrews is here to stay. He is going to be the best tight end fantasy quarterback in standard scoring. So that's that. Now, we'll finish off with our last division of our NFL 2020 preview as we inch closer and closer to the NFL season. I can fucking smell it. But the AFC West, I don't think we really need to cover the Chiefs. We all are in agreement that the Chiefs are going to win this division. They didn't really do anything other than give away money to the players they already had. They didn't bring anybody special. They didn't have any free agent signings at all. So they're still the best team, and it is by a lot. So I do want to focus on who you think is the second best team, or how would you rank the rest of the division? And do you think there's a shot with this extra playoff spot that a team from this division could sneak in, if any?
I don't know, because there is such a drop off from the Chiefs to the rest of them, right? In my list, I actually had the Raiders, then the Chargers, then the Broncos. But the Raiders and Chargers, they could be interchangeable. It's really a 2-game swing at that. I mean, the Raiders in itself, I don't see them winning more than 9 games. And the Chargers, 8 best. So it's tough. I don't know if they'd opt for that extra playoff spot, because although they have the potential to win 9 or 8 games, they also have the potential to tank significantly. So I have to go with Gruden. That's why I have the Raiders so high. Hopefully he gets the credit he deserves as being a good coach. And, apart from the Chiefs, I mean, and I think, Jerm, you said it before on other shows. I mean, I know you don't like Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr. So that's why I kind of put him up there.
I don't even think the Raiders like Derek Carr. That's why they brought in Marcus Mariota. Let's do it that way. Let's just talk about the Raiders, and then we'll do over and under, because I do have the Vegas over under for the season win totals for each team. So talking about the Raiders, they went 7-9 last year. Most of the division actually went 7-9. they added Corey Littleton from the Rams. They added Jason Witten from the Cowboys, Malik Collins from the Cowboys, and of course Marcus Mariota to compete with Derek Carr. My first question for all of you is: do you think Marcus Mariota is going to take over this job at some point this season? I mean, that's why they brought him in, right? They can't just give him the starting job, but I'm pretty sure they want him to start.
I think they brought him in for extra pressure, but I don't think, unless Derek Carr goes down, I think he's a good safety net. And Derek Carr does have the tendency of getting hurt. So, I mean, I think it was just kind of backup. Other than that, I mean, dude, Mariota's Mariota. I mean, everybody was expecting him to shoot out of the cannon into the league, but he kind of just flopped a bit. He had, one good season. Then after that, it was a complete dud. So maybe he'll have more success over there. And I know they added some weapons. But, I mean, last year, the Raiders were predicted to win, well, not win, but be more competitive in that division. But then AB had his whole meltdown, and then that was that. I mean, when AB went over to the Raiders, that was like the second coming of Christ for them. They thought it was theirs for sure.
Started the season there. It didn't start.
I didn't play one minute for them.
Yeah. Well, no, he secretly recorded his conversation with John Gruden, then made a YouTube commercial about it, which is like, it's fucking. That was like the start of his like nonsense, right? Like that was like one of the first things he did, and then it was like downhill after that. It's ridiculous.
Plus, they're in a new home this year too. I mean, new stadium, new fans. Let's see how that plays into it. If the fans are even allowed in, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of teams have like basically said the first 2 or 3 games they're not going to allow fans in the stadium. But did you see what the Raiders did to the fans who bought season tickets? They sent them their season tickets in a box of a small model version of Allegiant Stadium, like a metal, like it's a nice looking, and the field is black and silver. Like I was like, holy shit, the field's going to be black. And then somebody was like, no, it's green. It's just the way it is on here. But it has like this metal plaque and then like a patch of Vegas that's shaped like Nevada with the Raiders logo on it. It looks really nice. Like it was really cool that they did that, I thought.
It's a shame all the people aren't going to be able to watch.
Yeah. For now, it's okay. It's good. It's their first season in a new stadium. They're not going to be very good anyway, so it's not like they're going to have lots of fans there. And it's Vegas. Like I don't know. It's a lot of transits there. They did add Henry Ruggs in their draft, but I think they messed up by going defense later because I think they had 2 first-round picks and they drafted the cornerback from Alabama. They probably should have went offense again there. But, I mean, you got Henry Ruggs, you got Josh Jacobs, the tremendous running back there. I mean, Jason Witten, as a tight end, I don't know if they have any other options. Maybe he's there to coach up a young tight end that they like. Oh no, Darren Waller. They have Darren Waller.
Yeah, Waller.
Yeah. So then I don't know about that move. But maybe to coach him up. That's not a bad person to.
2 tight ends are good, man.
2 tight ends are good, and especially a vet like Jason, a professional like him to teach. Apparently your tight end of the future, because Darren Waller was fantastic last year. And then you have, Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, whatever one. I know John Gruden really likes Marcus Mariota, so that's why I'm kind of like, it might be over for Derek there. Vegas has their over under at 7.5. So Bert, I think I guess you would say you have the under there.
Over.
Right? Okay? I thought you said they weren't going to have. Oh, you said they were going to get 8 games.
Yeah, I said 8 or 9.
Okay. Ty?
Mm-hmm. I'm there too. Definitely over 7.5. I like them as the second best team in the AFC West. I like them to secure that second best spot.
I got you.
Because of Gruden and because of the rest of the squad. I mean, I don't trust the Broncos and Chargers like that. Not until Hubert. What the hell's his name? Herbert. Not until Herbert, gets a season under his belt. I don't trust them.
Mike, 7.5 over under for the Raiders.
Probably under. I think they've been a shit show. It's not just AB. I think it's just been this whole Gruden situation. I don't think they get out from underneath it. So I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they're a year or 2 away from really having something special there. I think I don't know if Mariota or Carr is the answer, but something about them still doesn't feel complete to me. I would probably bet they would repeat 7-9, perhaps even a 6-10. I'm not sure their strength of schedule. I probably should have looked that up, but They went 7-9 last year. I just don't see the changes that would make them better than that. I guess 8-8 is possible, but I would bet the under if I had to bet money on it. Moving on to the Broncos. Now, I will say, if Drew Lock is legit, I have the Broncos as the second best team and a Patrick Mahomes injury away from winning this division. When Drew Lock came in at the end of last season, they went 4-1. And they should have went to him a lot earlier, because who knows? Because they could have made the playoffs if he played at least half the season. They added A.J. Bouye from the Jags. They added Jarrell Casey from the Titans, Graham Glasgow from the Lions, and, of course, Melvin Gordon to pair with Phillip Lindsay in the running game. And they got Jerry Rice-Jeudy, the best receiver drafted of all time, coming to that team to pair with Cortland Sutton. That team is stacked, man. The defense is good. It's led by Von Miller. The defense has always been good in Denver. If Drew Lock is legit, again, not saying that they could compete with the Kansas City Chiefs at full strength, but I think they can fight for a playoff spot 100%. I think their over and under in Vegas is 7.5, and I have the over. I am betting that's probably, I looked at all the lines, and that's my favorite one. I'm well over. I'm saying if Drew Lock, if I'm basing it off the 4-1 Drew Lock I got last year, and that's without an off season, so I would expect him to be better. If I'm basing them off what I saw last year, I think the Broncos can easily get 10 wins. Easily.
You lost me at 10 wins, right? I mean, look, if they gel and Lock is good, I'll give them 7 or 8. I won't give them 10. Dude, there's just something about the Broncos year over year, and they may have depth and they may have young, hungry guys, but for some reason they have a gelling issue. They just don't gel in itself. And a lot of times it starts at the quarterback position, right? Because they've been without a solid quarterback since Peyton Manning left. And they've been trying to fill that void ever since. So, I mean, look, we'll see. Look, they have a good backfield. I'll give them that. So, we'll see what happens. But what did you said, 7.5 is what Vegas is right now?
Yep.
I'll go under with 7.
Oh man, I didn't know they signed Melvin Gordon. That's I think that's an interesting signing there. They have Gordon and Phillip Lindsay in Denver. I'm not too mad about that, but I don't know. Drew Lock doesn't. I don't know nothing about that. Makes me excited. I don't know
if it changes anything for you. Like I said, I've been doing the research on this stuff. The players really like him. They actually wanted him to start well into last season. I think the coaching staff just didn't want to rush him but then Flacco got hurt, and it kind of just was like he was winning games at that point. So. But from everything I can tell, the players really like this kid. He's like, he got some swag to him. He gets along with everybody. The players really respond to him. So, if that means anything.
All right,
Mike.
Yeah, I'm going with Germ. He went with me when I talked my crazy, so I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go over. Let's go for these 10 wins.
10 wins, baby. 10 wins.
Do it.
Challenging for the wild card spot. So then that leaves us with probably the most interesting team in the division, the Chargers. I do think that they are a good team with Tyrod Taylor, and I think the team is good enough around him that they probably won't go to Justin Herbert unless he gets injured or unless the rest of the season is a disaster. Just some information for you guys. The lowest career interception percentage in NFL history. Number 1 is Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, Tyrod Taylor. You got it. Yeah. We'll tell him, Mike. Tyrod T-Mobile Taylor, okay? Ty God. You understand? And guess who he's ahead of? Patrick Mahomes at number 3. So he's better at than Patrick Mahomes. He's better than him at something, and that counts. But seriously, for the Chargers, the fact that Tyrod won't lose you the game, like Phillip Rivers, the problem with him is he'll do those YOLO balls at any point of the game. It doesn't matter. And if for some reason during his career, no matter what happens over the course of the game, when Phillip Rivers is your quarterback, you're always going to be down 3, length of the field to go with 0 timeouts, 30 seconds left in the game. That it should be on Phillip Rivers' tombstone. It seemed like every time I turned on the Chargers game, that's what was happening. And then he always ended up throwing an interception in that instance. Tyrod Taylor won't do that. He has 70 career touchdowns, 20 career interceptions. He for whatever it's worth, he is a Super Bowl champion with the Ravens as the backup. So he has been around a championship team. He knows what that's supposed to feel like. He can walk some of those guys through that. He is a Pro Bowler. He was a Pro Bowler with the Bills. He did end the Bills' 17-year playoff drought, a couple years ago, not too long ago. They did sign Joey Bosa to a ridiculous $135 million deal with $102 million guaranteed. They did bring in Chris Harris from Denver. They brought in Casey Hayward, cornerback, to pair with Derwin James. That defense is legit, one of the better defenses in the league. Tyrod Taylor won't turn the ball over, which was what was killing them last year. They lost a lot of single-digit games because Phillip Rivers can't help himself and throw interceptions. So I'm interested by the Chargers. I'm kind of with Bird. I do think I know I talked up Drew Lock, but the Chargers could very easily be the second best team in that division, and the over/under on them is also 7.5 wins, which is interesting. The Chiefs over and under, we didn't pick that one, but it was 11.5. So I'll ask you guys for both. We'll start with the Chargers. 7.5 wins. I'm going over.
I'll go over for the Chargers for sure. I think so. Just to expand on that, I think Tyrod could be a good fit as a starter there, but knowing they have Herbert, he's going to be on a short leash. So if he's not getting it done, you can guarantee you're going to send the kid in itself, which is fine. Look, if I'm Tyrod, I want that starting job, but Super Bowl ring, check. Starter in Buffalo, brought stop their playoff drought, check. He's had a decent career, so to speak, but I know he obviously probably still wants to start because he can. So, but other than that, he's up there in football age. So, I think it'll be a short leash in itself. But back to the original point, I'll go. You said 7.5. I'll go over.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the Chiefs too, right? Do the Chiefs?
Yeah, Chiefs. Yeah, because we're not going over the Chiefs.
They gave them 11. I think the Chiefs are going to do 12, so that's fine.
Okay.
Over.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Chiefs over. Chargers, I think they're properly rated at 7.5. I think they're going to win 7.5 games. I think that they're going to clear a way to win that half game.
Yeah, seven wins and a tie.
Yeah, maybe. Whatever Vegas says happens. So 7.5.
Yeah,
you
can't get a half win. But
so the middle of that 8th win, everybody's going to get coronavirus, and they'll have to stop the game right at halftime.
I prefer Bane, like the Bane scenario, where he just
blows up the thing.
Yeah,
don't talk to me about Bane, because I just watched that movie the other day and I really enjoyed it up until the end where they ruined Bane's character.
Overrated.
Yeah, Jesus God. Anyway,
but I'm going under for the Chargers. I'm tired of you guys trying to bring up Tyrod's backup quarterback Super Bowl ring. Like, can you please stop? He got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, does he? He does.
Check that off. Hey, David Carr has a Super Bowl ring too. Okay,
but we're not talking, and we should not bring it up, and we should not mention it in his stats, in his bio. It was backup. He didn't play. But anyways, I know beef with Tyrod. I like Tyrod. I just I don't. Yeah, I'm picking underneath. I think they'll get 7 wins.
Do you think it's more you just know who he is rather than?
He's always done, like you say, he won't lose you the game. Is he gonna win me the game? Yeah, he's not going to lose me the game, but he's not going to win me the game either. Like,
I mean, he might lose you the game too. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can lose you the game, but
he has a little problem with fumbles. Jerm left that one out, but he doesn't hold on to the ball very well. So
I trust him a lot. I think he can easily win. Definitely think he could win a Super Bowl with the right talent around him, and I think a lot of players are like that. But. No, I don't. Am I huge on Tyrod as I am on other quarterbacks? Obviously, especially in the division, I would still take. I wouldn't take Mariota, but I would definitely take Derek Carr over Tyrod. I trust him with the ball, throwing the ball. But I'm going over on the Chiefs, under on the Chargers.
Mike,
I already did mine. Now it's my turn. You got confused again, but I'm glad you kicked me because I want to go over. We're going to keep following this because it's the most viral thing we've done so far. This post that Jamal made, kudos to him, over 22,000 votes are in. And, this is the thing. If our government can't figure out how to make a voting system, it took Jamal 1 week back from Facebook jail to figure out how to get the world to vote their favorite sports movie.
Man, and I got to tell you, I thought I was pretty close today going back, man. I was nervous. I was sweating. I'd logged off. I never deleted a comment so fast that I made. I was scared. Good, Mike. Sorry.
So, you cannot. Yeah, you cannot leave.
Sorry.
So Sandlot's in the lead with 2,500 votes. Right behind him, Rookie of the Year with 2480.
Well, Mike, tell him what we're talking about and give him the options first.
So you have to make sure you don't just. So it's a post, and we'll keep posting it, and people are sharing it. It's got 98 shares. It's not from us. People just keep sharing this thing. So if you just like it, you're giving Rookie of the Year a vote. If you give an angry face, it's Sandlot. Happy face is Space Jam. The love symbol is Little Giants. Sad symbol is the Mighty Ducks, and then Karate Kid with 6 votes is the wow thing. So it's still anybody's game except for Karate Kid. That's an awful movie, apparently. Everybody else is within a couple hundred.
Well, the voting system was for the best children's sports movie of your favorite, which out of the, not your favorite, but which one was the best. Clearly, the answer is Space Jam. I mean, it taught us.
The question is favorite. It's not best. It is favorite.
Oh, not in my version of the story. It's best.
He made the post.
I didn't vote. I just voted for the first time. I saw the post, but I never voted. But I just voted just right now for the real winner, and that's the Little Giants. I don't know how that's not getting more love than these other movies, man. I guess watch that again. I guess I'm a football guy. I love Little Giants. I freaking love it.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it again. I gotta watch. I remember
watch it with your son. Please.
I will. I remember it. I remember the big parts. At the end, I don't remember how we got there, but I don't remember the journey. I just remember the destination.
It's your classic children's sports movie, band of misfits who want to play just as good as everyone else, and they form a team. It is really good.
I'll watch it
better than The Sandlot, actually. So
thank you.
Oh, you shut your whorish mouth.
Yeah. Oh, what? Wait, Bert. What movie did you just say? What movie was that?
Yeah,
The Sandlot. Overrated. Let me tell you something about The Sandlot. It is the classic. Yeah, it has some good, memorable scenes. The Sandlot's only good for 3 scenes, right? The pool scene with Wendy Peppercorn, right? The forever treehouse scene, right? And then the scene where the dog snatches the. Other than that, nobody cared.
The 4th of July scene is amazing. They're playing under the lights because of the fireworks. They don't.
That's every baseball movie.
They've
was
never
that The Sandlot or was that Field of Dreams? I don't know. It's the same shit.
Oh my god!
And it's Field of Dreams too. Somebody mentioned that movie to me. Field of Dreams.
Oh, I hate that movie.
Overrated.
I burned that cornfield down. I don't like it. It's not even Kevin Costner's best baseball movie. Let's go.
It's not. Yeah, Kevin Costner can't make a good movie. Let me tell you, this is not sports related because we're about to get out of here. We're running a little bit long, but I just watched Dances with Wolves the other day.
Oh, it's a terrible movie.
3 fucking hours. The dude never dances with a goddamn wolf. What are you doing, Kevin Costner? What are you doing? I couldn't believe I wasted 3 hours of my time. Jeez. Anyway.
He's got good movies. Just stop watching his shitty ones.
Oh,
yeah. When you find a good Kevin Costner movie, you let me know.
Yo, when that dad throws the baseball in that kid in Small's eye, and he's got the giant piece of meat like covering his.
Didn't he cheat? Didn't he help the goats cheat or some shit like that? Like you can't come back into the field of play. Like
I don't know. Well, the one thing I'll say, if you want to see the sequels to the Little Giants, just watch any game with Eli Manning. Good night, guys.
Oh my lord.
On that note, everybody, listen. We're gonna have the fantasy football information up soon, right, Ty? Maybe soon. Yes, sir.
No pressure.
All right.
No pressure. It was your birthday.
Hey, listen. If you do want to spot, just send. Go to the Give Us a Shot Facebook page. Give Us a Shot Network Facebook page. Send us a message with your email, and we'll get you on the list. But we will have signups coming forward. We don't have time to do the game ball, so I just want to give a game ball to Bert, Ty, and Mike. Thank you guys for joining me and helping and just everybody at the network, man. The game ball goes to every show on the network. I saw the Will Richardson stuff. That was awesome. Check his stuff out. Check out the 3-episode podcast. Check out the Mike show. Everything at the giveusashot.network website. Other than that, we will see you guys next week. Good night. Mets.